world has to end because it began. You must have all watched the apocalyptic movies which depict the end of the world, be it 2012, World War Z, Interstellar, and many more. The marvelous imagination which went into making these movies, the exciting and tangible depiction of the apocalypse definitely shook us a little and left us wide-eyed. What if it happens in real? What if the earth actually ends? These questions crossing our minds and the fear of it all happening is real. As hypothetical as it might seem to some, the chances of all of it happening now are greater than ever. The doomsday seems to be near. In this video, we will be talking about the doomsday clock, and how does this clock work. But before that, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel in depth, and do watch the entire video. Let us first address the main question. What is doomsday? Doomsday means the end of the world, or a time when something really bad will happen. It is the day of the final judgment. As scary as it might sound, the end is definitely near, and recently the atomic scientists set the doomsday clock closer to midnight than ever before, saying that the threats of nuclear war, disease and climate volatility have been exacerbated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, putting humanity at a greater risk of annihilation. The scientists moved its time in 2023 to 90 seconds to midnight, 10 seconds closer than it has been for the past 3 years. You must be wondering, what is this doomsday clock? The doomsday clock is a symbol that represents the likelihood of a man-made global catastrophe, in the opinion of the members of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, a group formed by the Manhattan Project scientists at the University of Chicago who helped build the atomic bomb but protested using it against people. The clock has been maintained by the atomic scientists since 1947. So, the doomsday clock is basically a metaphor that represents how close humanity is to self-destruction due to nuclear weapons and climate change. It warns how many metaphorical minutes to midnight humanity has left. The intent is not to scare anyone, but to warn the public and inspire action. When it was created in 1947, the placement of the doomsday clock was based on the threat posed by the nuclear weapons. Midnight on this clock marks the theoretical point of annihilation. The clock's hands are moved closer to or further away from midnight based on the scientists' reading of existential threats at a particular time. Then in 2020, the clock moved the closest it had ever been, 100 seconds to midnight. Now the recent shift of 10 seconds has created panic. The new time reflects a world in which Russia's invasion of Ukraine has revived fears of nuclear war. So how was the doomsday clock set? Up until 1973, Bulletin editor Eugene Rabinovich decided whether the hands of the clock should be moved or not. He actively talked with and consulted policy experts and scientists around the world, and then set the clock based on these deliberations. This happened till his death in 1973. Today, the Bulletin Science and Security Board sets this clock. This group of 18 experts with diverse backgrounds ranging from policy and diplomacy to military history and nuclear science meets twice a year to discuss events, policies and trends. They consult widely with their colleagues across a range of disciplines and also seek the views of the Bulletin's board of sponsors, which includes multiple Nobel laureates. Each year, the clock's position is announced in late January. 3 major threats to civilization are recognized by this group while setting the clock's position. These are climate change, nuclear proliferation, and disruptive technologies, which includes biosecurity and cybersecurity. Each of these threats has the potential to destroy civilization and render the earth largely uninhabitable by human beings. Now you must be thinking, what would happen if the doomsday clock hits midnight? When it was originally launched, the clock's countdown referred to an exchange of nuclear weapons, which would have large-scale consequences for humanity and the planet. Today, the threat from nuclear weapons remains, but another equally large threat is climate change. When it comes to climate, there are certain tipping points which one cannot come back from, and its effects can be felt until years out. Hence, though it's possible, it becomes very difficult to recover from. So, when the clock hits midnight, That means there has been some sort of nuclear exchange or catastrophic climate change that has wiped out humanity. So let us be honest. If the time comes that we do reach a nuclear war on a global scale and the ensuing apocalypse, the world will probably be over before anyone has a chance to update it at midnight anyway. However, Bulletin members have constantly emphasized that the clock is not intended to make people fearful, but rather to spur them to action. The clock is sometimes called the canary in the coal mine, which prompts miners to take quick action to save their lives. However, what we learn from the Doomsday Clock and the recent movement of its hands is that our ability to deal with such crises is likely worse than it ever has been. The clock is still ticking, and if we cannot turn back its hand, then the chimes of midnight may not be far away. This was all that you needed to know about the Doomsday Clock and how the recent shift of 10 seconds possibly signals the highest ever peril level. Thank you for watching.